I was faced with a choice which I never should have had.
She was crying like I had never heard a woman cry before in my life.
And I just cried for weeks and weeks. Everything reminded me of a baby.
And I kept trying to get up from the table and look to see what was in that jar.
I was dealing with the loss of my unborn child and I didn't even know it.
I believe that my life was spared that night just so that I could be here right now and say abortion hurts women.
Whisper, be silent no more.
Welcome to Faces of Abortion. I'm your host, Cindy Collins, and I'm again with my co-host, Alan Parker, President of the Justice Foundation, and Clayton Trotter, General Counsel of the Justice Foundation. It's going to be a wonderful show today, Alan.
It really is, Cindy. If you're ever near an abortion clinic, danger, danger, danger ought to start flashing in your mind. Warning bells should go off anytime anyone is near one, because you're going to hear today in a very amazing interview with Molly White and Carolyn Rice, and you're going to hear from Candy about what really goes on in abortion clinics.
That's right, Alan, and now we have a special interview with Molly White and Carolyn Rice.
Welcome back to Faces of Abortion. I'm Molly White, and I have a special studio guest with me today, Miss Carolyn Rice. Welcome to the show, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Now, Carolyn, you come from South Carolina, and you come all the way down here to visit us on Faces of Abortion, and it's because you also have a story to share about how abortion impacted your life. And we'd like to ask you a few questions about your experience.
All right.
So what age were you when you got pregnant and considered abortion?
I was 24.
And were you married at the time?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about that experience, because we talked about it before the show.
Well, I had grown up in a Christian family, and in fact, my mother even was quite involved in pro-life ministry. But I had moved to another city and just I really wanted my own way, do what I wanted to do. So I ended up getting involved with the man outside of marriage. And I didn't even consider any other option. I had gone to my doctor just for a regular doctor's appointment, not having any suspicion that I might be pregnant.
Okay.
And when she asked me about the possibility, and I said, well, not really, and then explained they did a test and I was pregnant. And I was absolutely stunned. And the first words out of my mouth were, I have to have an abortion.
And so from that moment on, how much time elapsed, and did you get any kind of information about what kind of abortion that you're going to have, or any kind of risk that may be involved?
No, they didn't give me any information at all about how the abortion would be performed, except she told me it would be in the hospital under general anesthesia. And I had to wait 4 days, it took that long to schedule the room, and I was almost manic. I asked for sleeping pills so I could get through until the time of the abortion. And she gave me 4, just enough. But at the hospital itself, the only risk they talked about was the risk of anesthesia. So, you know, they had me sign a paper that I was going under full anesthesia, but they didn't tell me anything about the abortion procedure itself or about possible after effects.
Did you know how far along you were at the time?
Yes, I was 6 weeks.
6 weeks. So tell me about the abortion procedure, because you brought up some interesting facts about your abortion that I think other women can relate to.
Well, you know, the thing that I didn't even remember for a long time until I went through a healing process was that I got very scared, and I was crying as they rolled me down into the operating room. And when the anesthesiologist came in, I got very upset, and I said, no, don't put me to sleep. I want to talk to my doctor. And she said, well, this isn't putting you to sleep, it's just vitamins. We're just getting an IV started. So I accepted, and that initial one was just vitamins. But I saw her, or I'm saying her, I don't even know if it was a him, it was they were so masked, start to put in something into my IV, and I was almost screaming. I said, no, I want to talk to my doctor first, and they just put the medicine in and I was out. So I never saw my doctor at all, either before or after the abortion.
Goodness.
And that caused me to, for years afterwards, have a great distrust of the medical profession and just not hate to go at all.
Right, I
to the
understand
doctor.
that. Now, so tell me, what happened when you started coming to from your anesthesia?
Well, I know this may sound strange, but when I woke up, I sat up on the bed and a nurse was walking by, and all I can remember is just grabbing her arm, and she looked stunned because I just sat up, you know, like from the dead. And I said, please, can you tell me if it was a boy or a girl? And she looked angry and stunned, and she took her hand and pushed me back so that I fell back on the bed. And she said, it's too early to know. We can't answer questions like that or something. But she was just, her face was both shocked and angry.
Yeah, it's probably hitting a little too close for comfort. They don't like to recognize that what they're doing actually is taking a human life. So it was probably very upsetting for her to have to face it was a child, and it could have, you know, it was either a boy or a girl. So tell me, you know, afterwards you suffered some effects afterwards. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we want to get into what you're doing now.
Okay. Well, I guess the two strongest feelings that I had as I was there after the abortion and on the way home, one was a profound sense of emptiness. I felt like I don't even know how to explain it, a gnawing emptiness that I needed to fill somehow. And the other was shame. I felt like I had a big scarlet A, and that the taxi driver who was taking me home and the people in my apartment building, I thought they would be able to just look at me and think she's had an abortion. So I was very much trying to smile, act normal, didn't want other people to know, and then also that just profound sense of emptiness and loss.
And that's so common, Carolyn, with so many women, the shame, the guilt, the feelings of emptiness after their abortion. But let's jump ahead a little bit because we don't have a whole lot of time. You went through a abortion recovery program called Forgiven and Set Free, which is a very popular abortion recovery ministry and healing. And after that, where did God take you, and how is He using you now?
Well, I went through Forgiven and Set Free 12 years after my abortion, and it was the first time I had talked to anyone about the abortion. But through that Bible study, I really learned about God's forgiveness, and I came out of that like a butterfly that has just been completely set free. And 10 days later, I was on a plane to Russia for the first time. That seemed an accident. I was going in my father's place. But there I chatted with a woman, and she told me that life was very hard for women in Russia. And when I asked her why, she said, Carolyn, most Russian women walk around through life with a pile of dead babies on their brain.
Wow.
And because I had felt that, I knew what it was like to walk around with a